Raja Jackson, Rampage's son. Now, let me just start out with a disclosure to you all that I know this young man and I like him a lot. I don't just know him to be level-headed and calm. I know him to be quite polite. I want to preface that because I don't think that will interfere with my ability to tell you what happened here, but this is a wildly complicated situation. So let's start with what you saw. You saw Raja get in the ring as part of a wrestling angle that was scripted and planned. You see Raja come in with his wits about him, waits for the right moment, picks up a double leg just as it was planned. And he's doing this with Psycho Stu, and Psycho Stu is letting it play perfectly. Raja then turns him around so that when he brings him down, it's right in the center of the ring, which appears to be very clearly what they agreed and had planned to do. Now, the landing is not great. When Raja brings Psycho Stu down, it's not great. And Stu lands in a way and he hits the back of his head. And he looks as though he perhaps lost a level of consciousness right then. All right. Either way, this is what happened. And either way, Raja Jackson, from my vantage point, is working out the spot the way it was planned. Raja then follows up with a right hand. Then he switches and follows up with a left hand. Now, these were hard shots. However, and again, I'm giving you my perception, but I watched this thing 20 times before I made this video to you guys. While they were very stiff shots, not what we would call a working shot, it did not appear that Raja had lost his temper. It did not appear that these were being done out of anger as much as, all right, I'm going to pick you up. I'm going to spin you in a 180. I'm going to bring you down in the middle of the cage. Then just like a cage fight, I'm going to land a punch to either side. Whatever's supposed to happen after that. There was a couple of guys there, a referee, another wrestler, perhaps the boys step in. We'll never know. Because at this point, it appears that Raja marked out for his own gimmick and really begins laying some shots in, but those shots are done out of anger. And if you want to understand what happened here, you're going to have no ability to get into the eye or mind of the DA or a potential juror. You're going to have no ability to do that if you don't understand emotion versus action, right? The action is supposed to look like he's punching him. The action is supposed to look like he turns him in a 180 and slams him down on the back of his head. So then, where you cross that already blurred line, right, which professional wrestling is already the blurred line, where you cross that is where Jackson actually gets angry. The rest of it, from a physicality and an appearance standpoint, is what you're supposed to do. And sometimes some shots get through. One of the most famous ones that you guys would have seen was Braun Strowman. Brock Lesnar trusted Braun. Braun did a move that was too hard. Brock responded with a real-life punch. That settled Strowman back down. But these are very normal things that happen in the business. We then, as an audience, get armed with what led us to this point. And there's another video that has surfaced where Psycho Stu is in the back. They're like literally outside. It's a nice day. The wrestlers are out there. They're carrying on and whatnot, working out their spots. Raja Jackson is back there. It appears as though this is where Psycho Stu meets him. And Psycho Stu takes a full can of beer and busts it open on the side of Raja's head. The other wrestlers, they don't jump in and pull him apart and break him apart. One of the other wrestlers is informing Stu, hey, this kid, Raja, he's not a worker. Meaning he is not a professional wrestler. He is not part of the show. He is not one of us. He's a dude that's back here and you just broke a bottle over his head. So Psycho Stu then, in yet another video, but all preceding the event in the ring, explains to Raja, hey, we're always working. This is always a work, whether we're trying to fool the audience or we're just trying to fool the boys in the back. You and I have got an angle now. So the rest of the guys tell Raja, who was a little bit confused by this and really didn't like that he had a can busted over his head. It didn't hurt him, but it embarrassed him. And he is a legitimate fighter. Like, he's going to have an ego like anybody and not going to want that to happen. But he didn't really blow up or react. The guys told him, hey, look, get even with him in the ring. Now, that is wildly open to interpretation what that means. But it made a level of sense to Raja, who agrees. I'm not going to do anything to him. And as a matter of fact, this whole can busting thing and the rage that I would have felt from that, or the embarrassment or the anger, is actually long past. But get even in the ring. Now, when that is being said to him, I can just tell you, because that is a very common thing that would be said in that type of environment. It just means go make it look good. If he embarrassed you here, go embarrass him there. If he walked up and punked you in front of the boys, go out there, punk him in front of the crowd. Get even with him. They didn't mean go out there and hurt him or go out there and have a fight with him. These two are cooperating. But one is a worker who fully understands that in Stu. The other is not a professional wrestler that's at an event and knows what he was told by people that he trusts, which is go get even with him, just wait to do it in the ring. Now, a number of people that will come into pro wrestling that don't know pro wrestling, the wrestler will actually tell them, just hit me. Big Show did this with Floyd Mayweather. Builds this thing up and it's going to be at WrestleMania, and Floyd had no wrestling practice and Big Show should just let it go. Floyd, hey, I don't really know how to control these shots. Do I do it with an open hand? Do I get close and I stop? Do I stomp my foot down? Like, what do I do? And Big Show's like, you don't do any of those things. You just hit me. I can take the shot. And the only way we're going to sell this and make this look real for the audience is if it is real. And a number of wrestlers have told a number of non-wrestlers this very thing. So, okay, but now that you've got all of these pieces, all right? If Raja attempts to take a defense in a court from a legal proceeding, the police have not arrested him. But we already know what happened and we've got it on video. And it's gross. And it is an assault. And it is outside of what was agreed upon in pro wrestling. And so many people have made this mistake in sport before, thinking, well, it's up to the referee. Whatever the referee says, but this was all part of sport. Like there is a piece of human psychology that works like that, but you have a police department that is in possession of this information and has not done an arrest. Why? Well, if Stu comes out and says this was all part of the spot, if he just says those words, no matter how much you're reworking reality and history, if he says those words, the police then look like fools. If Stu doesn't say those words and say, hey, this was not scripted, as a matter of fact, he's even given a confession. He's saying that he's doing this for retribution for something else that I did. You have a legal right to defend yourself. That's true. But there's a sustainable difference between defense and vengeance. And one of them is instantaneous, and one of them is premeditated. So the police are in possession of a video which is highly against the law unless Stu comes out as a performer and says this was agreed upon. And you have no idea how far Stu would take that. Stu is clearly unconscious. In real life, he's unconscious. But is he going to come out and say that? Or is he going to stick to kayfabe and stick to the character and say, no, the whole script was I let him spin me in one way, I come down, I act like I'm unconscious. All we did is follow the script. And Stu hasn't spoke yet. If Stu was to come out, it would effectively end his time in professional wrestling. Back in the territory days, there was a number of bookers that would tell the boys, everybody's got a camera now. You got it right on your phone. But it didn't used to be that way back then. And these guys would go out to the taverns, and the promoter and booker would tell them openly, you can go out and you can go to the local bars. If any of you get beat up in a fight at a local bar, you're fired. Like if any of you break the character that you're not real badasses, even to a bar full of 30 or less people, that's 30 or less people that I don't need to know that you're not actual badasses. Go ahead and go out, lose a fight, you're fired. So I'm sharing with you Stu, who is dedicated and has spent some time, and he's out there on this indie scene. Is he willing to take a match and light a fire to his career in exchange for his retribution to Raja? It's not as though you can sue Raja and end up with millions of dollars. You could go sue him and get a judgment. The guy doesn't have the money. You're not going to get the money. And I'm just sharing with you, like, this is an actually fascinating situation. And I don't like that Raja did it. However, if Raja is saying he did it in retribution to the Beer King because that's how the boys told him to settle it, and Stu goes along with it, I mean, you will truly have a kayfabe moment where these guys could build. These are indie scene guys. This isn't getting picked up by Triple H. But on the indie scene, you now have the makings of a good angle. And an angle in exchange for your reputation, even if it's make-believe, is a trade that most guys would take. Now, I'm getting in front of this and I'm making these predictions without having news if Psycho Stu is injured. If his jaw's broken and some teeth that are loose, all of a sudden you're having a very different conversation. But you have the police that are in possession of irrefutable evidence known as a video that an assault happened, and the police have not taken any action. And they won't take any action until a statement is made one way or the other by Psycho Stu.